Hi guys, Nick Jennison from Guitar Interactive Magazine. It is now 2024. This may be the first time I've got the date right. I'm still living in the past. So not 2022, 2024. We are in the Oasis of Calm, which is the Music Man booth, atop a Sea of Chaos, which is the 2024 NAMM show. It's been super exciting, but it's even more exciting because we are sat with the High King of Shred himself. Ladies and gentlemen, John Petrucci. John, it is great to have you here. It's great to have you back at NAMM. He was saying it's the first time you've been here in a number of years. How's the show been for you so far?
Yeah, it's great. First of all, it's great being up here in this nice, comfy, quiet spot overlooking.
Yeah.
It's been great. It kind of brings me back. I mean, we were just talking that probably the last time I was here was 2018. Did we figure that out?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Certainly the last time we spoke.
Yeah,
was
but it's been
then.
really exciting. I mean, you know, people are happy to be here, and you know, for me and Ernie Ball Music Man, we have these beautiful colors that we're like so proud to show everyone. It's been fun.
Well, specifically on that note, I wanted to chat to you about the colours.
Sure.
Obviously, there are some new BFR guitars
Right.
that we're really excited to show you. We have full studio reviews available of all of these guitars. We have an overview of the Majesty series, both the production models and the BFR ones. But I want to talk to you about this finish in particular. This is Her Majesty's request, and this was Rena's request, right?
Yeah.
So talk to us about that.
I will. So that guitar has a story. So my wife Raina has been playing Ernie Ball Music Man guitars for as long as I have.
Sure, and she's a great player, by the way.
She's
If you
an
don't know,
awesome
you've got to
player.
check her out.
Her band Mean Streak. Actually, I'll plug. They have an EP coming out in less than a week, next Friday. And they toured with me and my solo band last year. But anyway, had this idea for a color that she's had in her mind. You know, it's like a white, iridescent, like big sparkle, almost 3D guitar.
Yeah.
And, you know, she worked with Tomas from Ernie Ball, and you know, he sent samples, and we talked about different things, and got it right. And when it came, you know, to the house, and she took it out, I was like, it was supposed to be just her color, you know, like a unique guitar, and I was like, I've never seen a finish like that. Would you mind if we make that a public guitar? And she's like, yeah. She's like, no problem, but I have the perfect name, Her Majesty's Request.
I do.
I started cracking up. I'm like, you got it.
Yeah, it's destiny, man. It's so cool. And
Perfect.
like, hey, happy wife, happy life.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
Killer. So you've got some other really beautiful finishes
Yes.
too. So it's not just the sparkles. We were chatting about the difference in spec between the sparkles of the basswood. There's the Okawome, if I remember rightly, on the shield finishes.
Right.
So how did they came about? The new finishes, the decision to make the two different wood types, was that something you were involved in?
I mean, there are certain things that we like to offer for different tonal, you know, experiences. You know, having the basswood bodies, like an opaque finish on a basswood body is a certain sound that's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice and heavy and tight. The more complex tones, like you'll see like on the BFR versions with the full, you know, quilted maple or burl tops, that's going to give you, you know, it's like drinking like a wine that like has all these different levels to it.
Yeah.
And that's a great sound and direction as well. And I love that we could make those different changes to the Majesty. You know, the design is perfect.
Yeah.
So being able to change things like wood and finishes just to give you a different vibe, it just makes the guitar even that much more versatile.
100%.
Yeah.
And for a player like yourself, it must be the perfect combination because you have the same ergonomics on every guitar. And I know that's super important to you in terms of the design. Can confirm these guitars drive like race cars.
They do,
Even
100%.
a little bit too nice for the likes of me. I feel like it's when you get in you know, the wheel of a car you can't quite control. And I'm like,
Right,
the tail wants
exactly.
to come out. But,
Yes.
you know, in the hands of the
fun.
master, the killer. But you must be able to... It must be a joy to be able to pick up the guitar and have it play exactly the same, but have a different sonic palette. You can go,
Right.
okay, I want the attack of the basswood for this, that more kind of like, it's a classic 90s sound,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Sure, absolutely killer. I also want to chat to you about the extended range instruments. So we were just talking briefly off camera about the 8-string. So I had a great time playing these guitars again. Reviews are available. I was absolutely baffled by the 8-string. it was a bridge too far for me, but for
Right.
you were saying, tell us the story that you were telling me just before about how the 8-string came about.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you know, for me, I'm so actually lucky to have and be able to do is have basically the same guitar model in a 6, a 7, and an 8, so that when I go from one to the next, there's really no sort of mental adjustment. It just feels like the same guitar with another string,
Yeah.
or 2 more strings. And we were talking about how about way back in the mid to early 90s where I got my first 7-string and played it and just started writing, and it was the Awake album, and wrote The Mirror and Lie and Caught in a Web. And I remember that feeling of just playing something that was unfamiliar to me, and the creative inspiration that brought. So when we talked about doing an 8-string, we already have a 6 and a 7. I'm like, what's one more string?
Sure.
I was like, well, let's extend the range of the instrument even more so I can kind of hang even more with my bass player and keyboard player. But let's do it on a Majesty so it feels comfortable. So
Sure.
we had to work a little bit with not changing the shape, but just adjusting a little bit. And you don't even notice, that's how cool this is, the bottom heel. Just because the neck is wider. So as you bring your hand up,
Of course.
you kind of needed more space.
Sure.
And Drew at Ernie Ball Music Man did such a brilliant thing. He chopped off the bottom thing or 3D printed it or something, and then sent different variations that we can interchange until we got the angle right. Because we didn't want it to look different, and you don't even notice it.
I didn't know
Right?
that was a thing. I didn't notice at all.
So when I got the first one and it was all right, it was actually a prototype. Yeah, we were in the studio.
Yeah.
And wrote this song called "Awaken the Master" that's on the latest Dream Theater album.
Yeah.
And that was my first, time playing an 8-string and writing with it. And so
Yeah.
it kind of brought me back to that.
Man, that same experience, yeah. That now, I must admit, what you're saying about transitioning to the 7-string, I noticed that. I'm not a 7-string player, but when I was playing the 7-string Majesty, I noticed that instant transition. So maybe I just need more time with it, and I'll be ready for the the 8-string.
I mean, it's more of a smooth transition if you keep the tuning standard.
Sure.
I know a lot of guys with these guitars will do drop tunings and different things with those lower strings. And that could really mess with your head even more.
Yeah.
But if it's standard, I mean, just the guitar is like what you know over here, over here. Like all these octaves translate. So if it's standard, it's not that hard to get used to.
100%.
Yeah.
And I know obviously you're pals with Tom Quayle, who's a regular contributor for the magazine.
Yeah.
He goes a step further with the fourths tuning.
Right, I know.
Yeah.
Tom is so awesome. I started using his doing his program, his legato program.
Really?
Yeah, a while back, and I remember asking him because he does the hybrid thing,
Oh yeah, sure.
and I was like, do I have to do the hybrid thing? Because I'm not. He's like, no, you can do it however you want. So like doing that stuff, but using a pick. So it's fun.
Well, it's interesting though because your legato technique is a touchstone for a high watermark of legato technique. Even though folks who have like the surface level knowledge will be, John Petrucci picking. It's like, no, John is like apex legato player.
Oh, thank you.
But it is the pick and legato combination as opposed to that modern fusion thing. But it's really interesting you bring up the program because obviously you are one of the OG video guitar tutors. That's obviously something we do too, and we're walking in your footsteps here. I wanted to ask you about that, about the practice and
Sure.
maintaining things on the road. So obviously Rock Discipline is legendary at this point. Are you still doing the exercise library? And
Right. Well, it always makes me feel so happy when I meet people that say, "Oh man, Rock Discipline. I still do those, like pros and bands and everything." They're like, "I do that every morning."
I do the stretches and
So, the funny thing is, like, as I'm working on guitar and practicing, and I do practice every day, and I don't feel right if I don't play the guitar.
Yeah.
I might be working on different techniques. Let's say I'm working on Tom Quayle's thing. And then I'll start to ignore some of the other things that are just normal to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, why am I having trouble with the thing that I play like in my sleep? So I'll go back and I'll do the Rock Discipline stuff to get it back.
Man,
so it's like this maintenance program.
That is so freaking cool, man. And it's also, I've got to say, it's really reassuring to hear that even a player of your stature has those moments where you go, why is this rusty? I could do this.
Well, it's like you're working out and like you're only doing your arms and your legs are slagging. You go, oh shit, I should do my legs.
100%. I actually did want to chat to you about that. No, I know it's not terribly guitar related, but obviously fitness is a huge part of your life, and you've been on the road a lot recently. We saw you in Newcastle. It was mind-blowing. I'll chat to you about the tone in a second because that was just probably the best I've heard in a live domain.
Thank you.
But what does staying healthy and staying fit look like for you on the road?
Right. Well, there's a couple things about it. It's kind of like guitar playing where you get addicted to it.
Yeah.
And you don't feel right if you don't. In fact, I haven't worked out since I've been at NAM, so I'm feeling a little weird.
We'll see you in the Hilton gym.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. For me, it's so important because traveling and touring is all travel.
Mhm.
The
Sure.
show time is, if it's an evening with show, it's 3 hours. But
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of bands, it's an hour, if that, or an hour and a half. That's it. The rest of the time, you're traveling.
Yeah.
And that takes a toll on you. So if you don't stay on top of, your health and working out. Working out, weight training to me is helps fight the aging process. It's good for your bones. It's good for your
Yeah.
posture. You don't want to be on an airplane, try to lift your bag, and
my shoulder.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's so important. But at the same time, I also am really careful because I'm a guitar player.
Sure.
And I've done this before where I've injured myself, and I'm like, I'll never do that again.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful. Guitar playing comes first. That's
Always.
my life and my career and
Yeah.
my passion. But the training done in a safe way is something that I've done for a long time.
100%, 100%. So I guess the question everybody really wants to know, which is the question everybody asks, is how much does John Petrucci bench?
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? The days of me even trying to hit numbers are all
Yeah.
long gone.
I think you
Yeah.
probably secretly have the high score. I think he's modest. Jared James Nichols is pretty close, but
He looks like
he's a big boy.
Yeah, he looks like he could lift a train for sure.
Yeah,
and those types of things have gotten me in trouble. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where you're feeling really strong, and then you're trying to deadlift something that's crazy. I've done that. We were on tour. We were in Mexico City, and I was in the gym. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna do my record weight, and I blew out my back, and we had to play a show.
Oh,
I
dude.
couldn't move.
Oh, it's the
So
worst.
so the days of trying to see how much I could bench in this,
Yeah.
they're gone.
Man,
I'm just gonna
yeah.
be healthy and
Just
maintain.
stay well. You look great, and the playing is tremendous. I did want to chat to you about the live sound
Yes.
deal. So you can please do correct me if I'm wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but on the most recent tour, this is the first time I've seen you without cabs on stage.
Gotcha.
So I think you still had the floor thumpers, but strangely, it was probably the best. I don't know if it was the mix or the guitar or the tone or whatever. But there's some magic going on there.
Wow.
Can you tell us about any changes you've made to your live rig, or
Yeah.
do you know how that's maybe different to your studio rig? Are you still using the amps and loading them down, or what's going on there?
I'll tell you. So first of all, we have an amazing crew and team that makes that happen. I'm just playing guitar. They're making that.
Yeah.
Our front of house guy is amazing. Our monitor engineer and the one who mics everything and gets everything covered. I would have nothing if it wasn't for these guys. But my sound, so the footrests that you saw were actually not thumpers. So those are empty.
They're not thumpers?
Yeah, we were actually feeding. So my rig has not changed in several years, and it is mic'd cabinets. They're just off stage just to
Right.
give the stage a clean look. And then I'm using in-ear monitors, and I have wedges in front of me that's also giving me the guitar so I can try to get feedback and feel the thud. But the rig it's a stereo rig with my signature Boogie JP2Cs.
Which are tremendous.
That amp is just a monster. And they're in stereo. There's 2 cabinets. I have a pedal drawer with some front end things that are fun, and then an Axe-Fx is doing all of the delays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not a really complicated rig. And the thing that I love about it is there's nothing like plugging your guitar into an amp just straight. That's the best.
Yeah.
So anything that I could do to get that as much as possible without any sort of conversion or whatever is going to give me the purest thing. But
Yeah.
If I was having this conversation in front of my front of house
Yeah. They'd be
monitor,
like, hang on, wait a minute.
They'd be like, no, what you're delivering us is great.
Yeah.
It's like we can't have this crappy sound and make it sound good. So,
Sure.
But it's a team effort.
100%. Well, the results speak for themselves, and obviously the venue we saw you in is notorious for having, let's say, iffy front of house sound. The mix was tremendous, and that's not an easy feat with the music you guys are making, which only seems to be getting more outrageous with each album. So, do you still have the same writing process? Are you guys still talks about what goes into making a modern Dream Theater composition as
Yeah.
opposed to maybe some of the earlier day stuff. You were talking about Awake
Right.
and those albums prior to that. Like, what's the modern process like?
Sure. I also want to add to it too. When we travel in Europe, you saw us in the UK.
I did, yeah.
So we travel with our own sound,
Oh, okay.
which makes a big difference.
Well, it's necessary with a
You know
band.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So our PA and everything we bring. So a lot of, I mean, some of the places have great systems, but some don't.
Yeah.
So we're able to have a consistent sound.
Of course.
The writing process with Dream Theater, I mean, it's about to change because we just got our old new drummer
Of course.
back in the band.
Yeah, of course, of course.
So Mike Portnoy is back in Dream Theater after 13 years. So we're about to go into the studio and start writing a new record. So we're really excited about that. I mean, the process honestly hasn't changed really too much. We get together. Some guys have ideas, and whether we use them or not, who knows. But we'll come in with different seeds and thoughts and ideas. But a lot of it is just us getting together, being comfortable, drinking coffee, jamming.
Yeah.
Some of the albums are more conceived ahead of time. Like, okay, this record is going to be a concept album. We're going to do a storyline. But some of them are just, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And that process has worked for us. We like to, I guess early on we demoed a lot. We would demo and then go in the studio. And we kind of got away from that. Not too far into our career, we were like, well, why are we wasting this time? Like, demo? Some of the magic is right now as we're writing it. So we'll just write it in the studio and sometimes record as we go. Sorry.
Yeah.
Which is nice because we capture those moments of inspiration.
Sure. I mean, you must be. It's fascinating to hear you say that, because for me, like, I couldn't imagine holding all of that music in my head for long enough to get through writing a song like that.
Here's the funny thing. I'm famously known in my band for having a crazy memory to be able to do all this stuff. And it's not in other parts of my life. But for some reason with music, Jordan will write everything down. He's reading as we go. And then, we'll have charts for everyone to kind of read. But if we ever have to do like a playthrough, they're like, John, do a playthrough of the song. Because I'm like, for some reason, I have this weird memory where I could remember
I think you need a guy like that in every band.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Some guys are like, wait, what's the next part? I'm like, why don't you know? No.
Come on, what's wrong, guys? Get with the program. So, on the subject of Jordan, real quick. So, Jordan's been on a guitar playing voyage over the last few years.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, how much have you been involved in that, and are we going to see any dual guitar Dream Theater stuff? Because that would be killer. So, is that something we can? Well, talk to us about, first of all, about your involvement in Jordan's guitar journey.
Yeah, well, he has had a ferocious appetite for guitar and has absorbed everything, made so many guitar friends in the community. And we'll just be backstage and like inevitably, hey, John, can you show me like the fingering for this part? But listen, I'll just set the record straight now. Sorry, Jordan. I'm the only guitar player in Dream Theater. I'm sorry, buddy.
There you go.
I know.
Go.
But
maybe if he plays a Majesty, that would be okay.
But, nobody could play keyboards like Jordan Rudess.
For sure.
So I don't think he has to do anything besides that.
I think it's probably well covered in that front.
Yeah.
So, John, listen, we're running short on time. I want to thank you for being so generous with your time. It's been killer. I just wanted to ask you one last question. So we mentioned Rock Discipline.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had this question before, but I wanted to talk to you about the memes, and if you were aware of them and how you feel about them.
First of all, they're hysterical. I never found out who made those.
No, I don't know either.
They're hysterical.
Yeah.
And forget about the ones with me, which are really funny, but
They're
one,
really funny.
and I guess it's the same person that did the G3 with me and Vi and Satch. Oh my God, I like wet my pants. I'm like, this is gold.
It's so funny.
So funny.
It's so funny. So if you are that person, if you happen to be watching, more memes, please. But kill it. Right. It's hugely entertaining. John, thank you so much for your time, man. It's always a pleasure to sit and chat with you. The new album it'll be ready when it's ready, but we're super excited to hear it. It's going to be killer. Any tour dates we can look forward to in the US and the UK?
Not yet, but we will, just stay tuned.
Sure.
We'll get them out as much in as much advance time as we possibly can.
Yeah.
And we're all excited.
It only feels like 10 minutes since the last one, so it's a little greedy of me to say, hey, come back, but we can't get enough, Mo. And of course, the new Majesty's new finish is available, 6, 7, 8 string. The BFR models are available too. If you are hungry for a little piece of John in the meantime, make sure you go and check them out. They are absolutely absolutely killer.
They're the best so far. Ernie Ball Music, man, just blows my mind.
Every time?
They continue to just, I don't know, break new ground somehow.
Yeah, we love it. We love it. Listen, thank you so much,
All right.
ladies and gentlemen. John Petrucci, it's been a privilege. Enjoy the rest of the show. My name is Nick Dennis from the Guitar Interactive Magazine. It's now 2024. Our coverage continues. We will see you next time.